What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And I told you guys the retribution, it was going to come swift for Diddy. But y'all, I'm in this rabbit hole. There are so many things, so many rumors that get corroborated. We got to talk about it. So like the video as the intro plays, because we got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I want to make it make one.
Big Mims. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
I remember when Candy Hair used to look like this. I fly above. I fly above. I fly. No, that what you? No, I fly above.
Okay, y'all. So we're going to start with what we knew was going to happen. The straight shooters, we know things. And we knew that once Diddy became like fodder for all of this stuff, the businesses that he was associated with were going to have to separate from him. But in my deep diving, I stumbled upon one of his, like the president of his company who was spilling his tea. I got the lawsuits and y'all wanted me to read this dang on book. So at the end, we're going to read a little bit of this book, but this book was crazy. I got it, like Sunday? I'm done with it, all but maybe like 20 pages. It's a lot, so it's going to move fast, y'all. But let's start with the basics. Diddy, you in danger. I would have said you in danger, girl, but I really don't want this man coming after me like that. So I'm going to keep it civil. I don't want any of those problems. But yeah, people are not playing with him. Grammy crisis over seating plans as stars refuse to sit near Sean Diddy Combs after these claims. Now, y'all do know that there will be, shout out to Really Be, there is going to be a major hip hop tribute. So Diddy not being there, Brother Love taking every photo opportunity he can. It's not looking good for Diddy. They are not going to save face for him and run the risk of other major celebrities who definitely have contributed to hip hop saying, I don't want to perform. I don't want to be around it. It's not a good look. The Grammy seating plan has been plunged into chaos by claims made against rapper Sean Diddy Combs. Organizers normally have to worry about egos of the stars in the room, but we can reveal that in the wake of those allegations against the hip-hop star, a number of celebrity agents have asked for their clients to be seated away from him. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Brother Love was going to be all over the Grammys. He needs this. Is anybody buying that album? No. He couldn't even get Mace to perform. He had to perform with his son, doing Mace's parts. It's all crumbling, sir, in front of your eyes. It's crumbling. And it's your fault. You did it. You didn't want to settle, and now we all know. And the hits keep coming. Capital Preparatory Charter Schools has ended their partnership with Diddy. We firmly believe it is in the best interest of our organization's health and future. Of course, you ended it with Diddy. Following a comprehensive evaluation, a decision has been made to end the partnership between Capital Preparatory Schools and Sean Combs. While this decision was not made lightly, we firmly believe it is in the best interest of our organization's health and future. Dr. Steve Perry, founder and head of schools, Capital Preparatory. The hits keep coming. Neighbors, it looks like Diddy is stepping away from Revolt with all those pending assault lawsuits. According to TMZ, he is temporarily stepped aside from his role as chairman at Revolt. Per the report, Diddy decided last week he'd make the temporary move. Now, somebody, when I was doing my deep dives, was like, Diddy isn't even affiliated with Revolt anymore. Y'all know I'll be doing deep dives for real. So when they told me, I was like, okay, of course he's still affiliated with Revolt. Did he decide? And he also still has power in the industry. So it doesn't just stop at Revolt, guys. Him and so many men who abuse their authority and abuse their power over these years have connections. People save these guys all the time. That album, you mean the one that's a rush PR job to get the public desensitized? It ain't work. You could have every feature in the world. It ain't working. It says, per the report, Diddy decided last week he'd make the temporary move. We're told his goal in making this decision was not to allow the accusations he's facing to distract from Revolt's mission or success. Sure. Okay. Now, 50 has decided that he is not in fear of his life. And he is going to continue to troll Diddy. Y'all surprised? 50 Cent. I'll buy that from you, Playboy, for the low, because you know Cadillac and AT&T gonna pull out. I'll give you a few dollars for it now. Sell it to me, then we can be friends. I'm serious. Call my phone. He's trolling him, but tougher guys are not around who messed with Diddy. I'm not naming no names. I'm not naming no names. Well, actually, I am going to be naming names, y'all. I have been working on a list. Now, I can't say that all of these people are gone as a result of Diddy, but what I can say is there are too many coincidences for me not to do this list. And the list just keeps getting longer and longer. That's why I haven't put it out. So maybe by tomorrow, I'll be able to put out the list. But 50 tougher guys aren't around. So you do with that as you may, sir. But I want to get into this, y'all. I want to get into, do you know him or not? Kirk Burrowes. You could put in the chat if you know who he is. Kirk Burrowes was a founder of Bad Boy, formerly the president of Bad Boy. And if you are hearing all these rumors, or we've always heard all of these rumors about Diddy, the problem is after Cassie's lawsuit, it opened the floodgates for what if the other rumors were true. Some people said that Biggie actually died not a wealthy man, and Diddy allegedly gave his family some millions. If you heard that rumor, then you're like me. When I heard it, I just couldn't believe it because, like I said, Biggie is like my favorite rapper. I had all of his CDs, even at a very younger age. But Diddy always purported that he and Biggie were like this. But what they're saying is actually Biggie was ready to leave. And Biggie was the biggest name for Bad Boy. Not only did he want to leave, Biggie also wanted to start his own clothing line. So basically everything that he was doing, getting artist development, a clothing line, Diddy and Biggie were the ones that made dressing up in hip hop cool. Everybody else was gangster rap and everything else. Diddy and them came in and changed the scene. Now you got people like Coogee, Versace. They want to work with these people. They were influential in more ways than one. However, why is Biggie broke allegedly? And that's what we're about to get into. That's where Kirk Burrowes comes in, because this is alleged proof. So I want you guys to hear him first. I'm going to let you guys hear what he had to say about Puffy lying about how close him and Biggie were, and how Biggie and them weren't like friends like that. He didn't even trust them. So we're going to listen to this first. Then we're going to get into the lawsuit where Kirk turned on Diddy. Then we're going to get into hiding in hip hop, where Diddy is mentioned multiple times. So shout out to the people who told me that. Not just Diddy. This man, who also is no longer with us, you wrote an expose naming names and giving enough clues for people to figure out who these people are, and now you're no longer with us. Most people don't last past 50 hanging around Diddy. So, okay, this is Keith Burrowes. This is what Keith had to say about Biggie. And for for this actual interview, I'm going to tag the person who did the interview so you'll know exactly where to find them. Okay.
Was he getting death threats?
We were getting threats all along, all around. The threats was continuous. The threats was before we left to go to LA. Threats that was as loose as fans that just fans of Tupac that thought the way that they thought. Threats that were fans of the West Coast in general. People that didn't like us on the East because we thought we were too much of ourselves or for ourselves. Enemies that we made along the way that definitely wanted to see us fall, and a lot. It was a noise-filled environment with that negativity coming at us. When you are looking at success and you have a lot of success coming your way, hence the song, More Money, More Problems.
One of my favorite rap songs of all times, More Money, More Problems.
It was that time period. The songs were true to what was going on.
Did you have any conversations with Diddy telling him that it wasn't a good idea to go to LA?
Plenty of times. The relationship was, I was almost like an older big bro as the years.
Now, let me tell you this. Now, Biggie might have been my favorite artist, but I can still tell you when he was on some F shit. Biggie being Biggie could be in the video, but the voice, Kelly Price, couldn't. Now, you know you was wrong for that with More Money, More Problems. What was wrong with Kelly Price? If you could be all up in through the video, Kelly could have been your date in the video. Instead of riding around with Puffy, you could have had Kelly in that car. But I digress.
Went on, the ego, his success was matched by the ego. His ego was matched by the sales and his success. So he started listening less and less. I still had my powerful position. I was still easy to be fired, but he still looked on to me to be the one to do the job. I was loyal. I was trustworthy. I was there in his worst of times. On 2 or 3 different occasions, he was down and out and had to be pulled back, blown up, resuscitated, and put back in the race again. And that's Kirk Burrowes. People look at Andre Harrell and say, Andre and Diddy, that's the Hollywood story. Yes, Andre and Diddy. Andre discovered him as an intern. Andre gave him his opportunity.
Also, who's not here anymore, who's no longer with us, Andre Harrell. Just saying. That whole, I think I might name that video Death Toll. So when you see that, you know what's coming.
Records are there at Uptown. We were fired from Uptown. You couldn't live off of that legacy that he made at Uptown. The legacy of money and wealth came from the legacy that he and I created at Bad Boy the moment we left Uptown. And I was there right by his side through those ups and downs too. And we created.
Really quickly, I like this comment. The influential fashion definitely was not from Diddy. Biggie did influence with Coogee sweaters, but the rest of the fashion came from Brooklyn, Low Lives and other Low Lives. Truth matters. Now, let me say this, AP. I'm not negating anything that you're saying. However, there is something to be said when somebody with the mainstream appeal, like Biggie and Diddy, come in and they have changed the game in terms of what the mainstream accepts. The mainstream wasn't looking at Versace down before them. They were dressed in, what was it, like a Nietzsche, Fat Farm, oversized stuff. I do credit mainstream jumping into a very fashion forward, specifically from Biggie, who definitely brought, I didn't know what Coogies were until, but you know, I definitely like this. I like your comment, AP. You know your stuff.
Through the mischief that he would cause with these decisions that didn't make sense to me or other people who might try to rein him in, you had to go along with the fact that some of the other decisions that he made on the creative side brought that money in. And in his world, I'm never wrong. Our world, we have to be cautious and take the best of these ideas, slow up the crazy stuff. And that was a lot of my job to do. And it was hard to keep him from slowing up on those things as the success kept building up, as nothing would happen. See, I told you. And then we were on to the next thing. And of course, something eventually happened.
From your point of view, you being the president of Bad Boy at that time, do you think Biggie was happy on Bad Boy? Do you think he was planning on leaving?
I feel that he was happy about his career. He was happy about the blow up. He was always on the line. He never let us feel comfortable like, oh, y'all did me right. Oh, I'm loving you guys right now. He would never give it up like that. He would always have us under pressure to keep doing it bigger and better. I honestly, when I look back on it, if he trusted Sean more, it would have been better. but he didn't trust him as much as the way Sean says they were best friends after he was dead.
Y'all hear that? You hear that? He didn't trust him like that.
No, I didn't see that during the time we were working with him. I see that.
You got at the funeral, you got Faith Evans having to be at the funeral with Lil' Kim crying harder than everybody else. Puffy putting on his performance. Y'all better listen.
As an emotional cry out after he's gone. I saw him as wanting his music and everything to be right, have the number ones, and we delivered that. I think there might have been a little bit of a hole or a gap when it came time to people being friends. I think Sean wanted friendship too. He might have wanted the best friend thing. Biggie came with his friends and came with everything and was about to open up to the world with all kinds of new friends and new people. This tragic incident happened and
new people like Sean Combs. Oh, not Sean Combs. Sorry, I meant Jay-Z. My bad.
Now he did belong to the world, but not even to us anymore. It was like he was gone. We had the music, and now we were left with his legacy.
Carter.
He was happy about blowing up. I can tell you he was happy about his success. He was happy about the stature that he had. I don't know if he was very happy about staying with us forever. I knew in my mind we were the best thing for him, despite whatever personality conflicts we might have had.
Y'all, because I stumbled on his lawsuit. You hear things about Diddy, you hear things that all of these groups that sold all these millions of records are broke. You hear Diddy going off on Mace saying that Mace, he only worked with him for one album and he thinks I owe him $3 million and he's a fake pastor and all that. You hear all these things, but it's different when you see it in a lawsuit from somebody who was there from the very beginning. And he sued him twice, y'all. So that's why I let you hear that first. He sued him twice. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Kirk Burrowes against Diddy. I'm not going to read all of it, but enough for you guys to kind of get on information and belief. Bad Boy Entertainment is a domestic business corporation incorporated under the laws of the state of New York. Principal business, blah, blah, blah. Burrowes was president of Bad Boy Entertainment in 1997. Burrowes was the general manager of Bad Boy Entertainment 93, 94, 95, 96. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. I want to get to the actual complaint. Okay, here we go. The actual complaint. This man alleges Diddy stole his money. Initially, Burrowes was paid no compensation for his services. Beginning in 93, Burrowes was paid a salary of $30,000. So he was working to build Bad Boy up for free. Those are the kind of people that you want. Beatrice, thanks for the super chat. What's done in the dark always comes to light. Crookedness is wicked, and y'all shall reap what you sow. Thank you, Beatrice, for the super chat. Definitely, we got 1,700 people in here. Hit that like button. And I see we got some real music heads in here. Even if you East Coast, West Coast, it's okay. Y'all are all welcome here. But okay, yeah, he's allegedly stole this man. The man was working for free. He finally got $30,000. 94, they increased him to $60,000. In 97, Burrowes' salary was increased to $125,000. On information and belief, 15% of the profits of Bad Boy Entertainment in the years 93, 94, 95, 96, and 97 were far greater than the amounts paid to Burrowes. So he was supposed to get 15%, y'all. So he then worked for free, helped build it, but Diddy's the one rolling in the dough. Burrowes' employment of Bad Boy Entertainment was terminated without cause, in 97 at the direction of Combs, but he was paid his salary through 98. Brad Padell gave the share certificate for 25 shares of Bad Boy Entertainment to Combs, who was to have reissued it to Burrowes in exchange for Burrowes' services to Bad Boy Entertainment. So this man was supposed to have 25% of the company. In addition to giving 25 shares to Bad Boy Entertainment, representing 25% equity of the company, Combs continued to promise Burrowes a share of the profits of Bad Boy Entertainment on numerous occasions until 2001. Okay. In reliance upon Combs' assurances, Burrowes declined business opportunities in order to devote his time, talent, labor to the business of Bad Boy Entertainment. He's setting up why he was owed the money. In about 93, Burrowes declined an offer and employment from Uptown Records. 93 and 97, he further declined offers from Elektra, East West Records, Sony Entertainment, Motown. At the time these offers were made, Combs specifically assured Burrowes that he would receive a share of profits earned by Bad Boy Entertainment. In the future, Burrowes remained employed by the company and did not abandon the company to accept employment by the other companies. At the time Combs made those assurances to Burrowes, Combs was aware of the assurances being made were fraudulent and false representations, in that neither Combs nor Bad Boy Entertainment ever intended to comply with the terms. Can you imagine working for free, building the company, and then you get a situation where you've been lied to this whole time? Faye, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Return of the Mac. I like that song. Vlad and Art the Dialogue have these Negroes putting their degeneracy on full display, and this is just the beginning. I was right along, but I was called crazy. Thank you so much for all the whole work you put into this. Thank you, Return of the Mac. I appreciate you too for being here. You seem like you know your stuff. Okay, y'all. Let's continue. And you can put in the chat, did y'all know this was going on before Art of Dialogue? Did you know who Burrowes was? Y'all can put in the chat. And if you're watching on replay, put in the comment section. I do read the comments. So, blah, 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 blah. Okay. This is where we get the thug coming out. This is where we get, no, y'all didn't know. Autumn's mom, I knew you knew. Nope. Okay, so most of y'all didn't even know this, but it's giving legitimacy to the people that say that Diddy's the only one who makes money on Bad Boy Records. But Autumn's mom, I knew you knew. Autumn's mom probably hung out with Keith. I don't know. Autumn's mom is connected. Okay. Where is it? Aside from the salary payments made in the reference above, Burrowes did not receive any payments from Bad Boy Entertainment. Okay. At the time Combs made those assurances, Combs was aware that they were fraudulent and false representations. At all times, Burrowes trusted and had confidence in Combs, first mistake, and relied upon Combs' promises and continued to work at Bad Boy Entertainment at a modest salary. Guys, I can tell you, I've been deep diving. This man did so much. At the time, they weren't even supposed to be in LA when Biggie was unalived. He stayed till the end, making sure people got out safely. Put Diddy in a trunk, drove him across state lines so he could get out of LA safely. They weren't supposed to be there. They had already been warned. This man stayed till the end, putting his own life at risk. In about 96, Combs and Masella went to the offices of Bad Boy Entertainment located on West 19th Street and demanded that Burns turn over his share certificate for 25 shares of Bad Boy Entertainment to them. When Combs and Masella into the office, Combs was carrying a baseball bat, y'all. He was carrying a baseball bat with another man to go and intimidate this man out of his 25% ownership. That's some stuff that we saw in, what was that? Ocean's 11. That's some Ocean's 11 type stuff. By words and actions, Combs and I think it's Masella's frightened and intimidated and assaulted Burrowes and forced him to turn over his share certificate for 25 shares of Bad Boy Entertainment to Combs. You allegedly assaulted the man out of his 25% ownership. Somebody, Renaissance, I can't put that comment up, but y'all can look at Renaissance's comment. He probably felt like they might. He probably felt like they might. In addition to obtaining the share certificate by threats and intimidation, Combs and Masella's intimidated and coerced Burrowes into signing certain documents. On information and belief, those documents purported to release Burrowes' equity interest in Bad Boy Entertainment. On information and belief, Combs and Marcellus continued to process a sheriff's certificate converted and stolen from Burrowes. In addition to devoting his time, skill, talent to Bad Boy Entertainment, Burrowes made significant investments in the company. 92 to 94, Burrowes invested approximately $35,000 in the company by paying various costs and expenses in order to keep the company operating. Y'all remember, he wasn't even paid until 93, and in 93, he only made $35,000. Or $30,000, I'm sorry. He invested more than he made. Crazy. Notwithstanding the forced conversion of his shares in the company, Burrowes continued to work for Bad Boy Entertainment because Combs continued to pledge that Burrowes would share in the profits of the company. Blah, 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 blah. 93, 97. As well, profits earned are projects that Burrowes worked while employed by Bad Boy. A count of the value of 25 shares of Bad Boy Entertainment, turnover to Burrowes, all recordings relating to the aforesaid profits and shares, and that Combs and Bad Boy Entertainment pay over to the plaintiff his shares of earnings and profits. They publicly acknowledged the contributions of Burrowes. In 97, he agreed to manage Mary J. Blige as producer and executive producers. Now, this is where it gets interesting, y'all, because he ends up suing twice. Combs and Marcellus conspired and acted together to cause Mary J. Blige to break her contractual relationship with Burrowes and to cause her to enter an agreement with Combs to act as her executive producer and producer. So this man gets Mary J. Blige, one of the biggest acts of the 90s, and you coerce Mary into dropping him so that you can produce her project. As a result of the actions of Combs and Marcellus, Burrowes was terminated as manager, executive producer, and producer of Mary J. Blige. If these accusations are true, you're dead ass wrong. It's wrong, y'all. It's wrong. Like, who does this stuff? So I want you guys to hear a little bit more of what he has to say. He likes to talk, y'all. This is him.
Of what we did, and they want to know how it happened. They want to know about it. Your documentaries, they're all fantasy, fairy tale, Disney. Your interviews, they don't tell the truth. You don't celebrate the workers that worked really hard, that made the ideas happen, including those fantastic young interns, from Mel Love, the very first intern, to Marlon Marcel, to all the other ones in between that did great work. You never celebrate those people. You only do documentaries that talk about you and you being the person that did this on the first day and then tied everything up on the seventh day at the end of the week and said you would rest. You're not God. It took a team of people to make this happen. It took brilliant Black young minds to come together to make this thing happen. And when you do this solitary thing and don't mention people's names and don't celebrate those people, you throw the light off the magnitude of the gift that they gave you, the gift of creativity that put a light on your artists that help us to shine around the world. I think that's whack, bro. It's the wackest thing. That's why I'm talking now and making sure I give credence to people who are out there, mention the people.
Y'all, okay. I would love to interview him. I don't know if he would actually talk to me because it's kind of hot right now. He did these interviews before all this stuff had broken about Diddy, but yeah. Oh yeah, be blessed. Thank you. We got like 2,200 in the chat, but only 500 likes. Definitely hit that like button. It's a free way to support the channel. It's appreciated. It lets YouTube know we're here. But let's continue because he sued again, y'all. Whew. I was like, wait, 2 lawsuits? And this one was for a lot of money. $5 million. But okay. This one is all about Mary J. Blige. It's the second lawsuit. Let's see. I want you guys to see it, though. This one. Okay, I want to get to, okay. While working with Burrowes, Blige released 3 albums and conducted 2 tours. Burrowes and Blige had also entered an agreement to co-own a record label and had entered into agreements with several artists to be featured on that label. The label, called Mary J. Blige Entertainment, was to be owned 55% by Blige and 45% by Burrowes. The label had signed several artists and acquired assets during Burrowes' tenure. Upon information and belief, in March 2001, during a photo shoot, defendant Combs approached Blige and told her that he, individually and on behalf of Bad Boy, wanted to work with Blige on her next album, which would coincide with the 10-year anniversary of Blige and Combs' earlier collaboration. Combs invoked favors that he had previously performed for Blige in order to ensure her compliance with the request. So it's not like Diddy just came up and said, I want to work with you. And Mary J was like, oh, okay, I'm overjoyed. What it sounds like is he basically was like, do you remember what I did for you? Big difference than I want to just work with you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to hate on Puffy and his contributions with Mary. Puffy was all over that My Life album. My Life is one of my favorite albums even to this day. It's one of the few albums that I can actually listen to from track 1 to track 17 and all the interludes. That Mary J. Blige album needs to go down in history as one of the best complete albums, in my opinion, of all time. So I'm not going to take that away from Diddy, but in this situation, if this is true, it's like coercion. Combs also informed Blige that he would not work with Burrowes on the project. So it sounds like Mary was like, well, no, I'm in a contract with this man. And he said, I'm not going to work with him. Upon information and beliefs, Combs was aware of the contracts between Burrowes and Blige and intentionally acted to procure their breach. Combs and Bad Boy had previously employed Burrowes as president until July 97. On and about May or June 2001, after completion of the 3rd album together, selection of a single and preparation of a music video, Blige terminated Burrowes without cause. Blige's termination of Burrowes followed none of the formalities called in for the contracts between Blige and Burrowes. So it sounded like she was strong-armed into firing this man and breaching her own contracts. During Burrowes' tenure working with Blige, Marcellus was not Blige's attorney. Upon information and belief, Combs induced Blige to retain the services of Marcellus. Marcellus then proceeded to terminate or cause to be terminated many of the individuals previously working with Blige, including Burrowes and Blige's then attorney, Ronald Sweeney. So I keep seeing people talking about Mary J being in a... Mary J is open that she did have, she did partake in... I don't want to... Mary definitely used to have some demons. And then she had then she married a light-eyed demon named Kendu. Then she had Puffy in here, strong-arming her into things. So Mary, for her to look the way she does now, she's beautiful. She is in control of her own career for the first time. Mary is the one that people should look at as a success story because she's very vocal about her history with drugs. She's very vocal about having been a woman who was abused by her ex-boyfriend. So Mary is the one to look at as a success story because she went through all that and she's still Mary J. Blige. Not too many people, artists or otherwise, can say that. Okay. Following his termination by Blige, rather than make a complete payment of monies due and owing to Burrowes, Marcellus immediately entered in talks with Burrowes to settle Burrowes' contractual claims against Blige. This coincided with the resumption of the relationships of Blige with Combs and Bad Boy. The negotiations took more than 14 months and were extremely antagonistic on all sides. Marcellus acted together with Combs and Bad Boys to procure the breach for his personal benefit so that he could become Blige's attorney and represent her in other transactions. After the termination of Blige's contract with Burrowes, Combs assumed Burrowes' prior role in the production and promotion of the release of Blige's next album. A settlement and release agreement between Burrowes and Blige was entered in 2002. This agreement paid Burrowes a small portion of the fees due to him under his original contracts with Blige and prevented Burrowes from earning additional revenues under his contracts with Blige. So this is important, guys, because it's setting the scene. We already remember what now, like if it's 2002 now, in 97, he's alleging that Diddy and this attorney showed up with a bat and assaulted him to get him to give up his shares of Bad Boy. Now they are severing his tie with his biggest client and then paying him pennies on the dollar of what he's owed. And then Diddy's attorney is now assuming all of Mary's business. This is crazy. This isn't the mob, y'all. This is Bad Boy Records, allegedly. Faye Tinsley, thanks for the super chat. Howard University, rescind those 2 honorary degrees and give up his board of trustees seat at the university. He just now honored his $1 million donation for a 2016 scholarship this year. That is some Nene Leak stuff. Because I think that the Detroit school system still ain't got that $20,000 she said she was going to give back in what, 2008? These celebrities. Thank you, Faye Tinsley. I appreciate it. So let's see. He's asking for $5 million. So I wanted you guys to see that, to kind of set the scene for where I'm going. I told you that I am definitely going to be doing a death toll video. But let's get into this book. Because y'all wanted me to buy the book. Whoever, I can't remember exactly who told me to buy it, but Diddy is named. And let me tell you, this person took they took steps to make sure that they kind of hid the identities, but gave clues to the identities of who they were talking about. But Diddy, they just went ahead and named him like it was nothing. So, okay. I'm going to start here. And you guys can tell me in the chat if you want me to do more readings of this book. But I'm going to go over a couple and you can kind of see, it'll give you an idea what this book is like. On several occasions when I made trips to the office, I'd listen. So the book is called Hiding in Hip Hop. My subscribers told me to buy it, so I ordered it right away. This is the author, who was a down low man working in the music and film industry in New York and LA. I will say this, he was a little bit of a thought pocket, y'all. He definitely was a little bit of a thought pocket, but in starting it, I'm like, wow, this is the Corinne Steffens of the culture. But, you know, he talks about having a sex addiction later on, so. But I definitely want you guys to get a feel, and you can let me know if you want me to keep reading. Okay, on occasions when I made trips to their offices, I listened to them go back and forth with their artists, explaining to them why they needed to be in an industry event, why it was important to show up on time for an interview, why they needed to be seen with a woman or a man, and why they couldn't speak their mind to the press if they had not been trained on the savvy and manipulative ways journalists can get information. On one such artist learned the hard way how to keep his indiscretions discreet. Drake was not the Drake. This was before Drake's time, but he gives different names. Drake was a member of one of the most popular R&B groups. They had several #1 Billboard hits, and the young girls loved them because the adorable, sexy front singer Drake had a flamboyant stage presence. He was very eccentric in his style, defying most conventional looks in his appearance. Drake didn't hold back when he performed either. Dancing, spinning, gyrating, stripping off his shirt, and showing his muscular frame. He loved the attention. Drake branched out on his own as a solo artist and had a huge hit single, which garnered him more success. This led to a few acting roles in major motion pictures. Now, some of these people, y'all, I'm just like, this sounds like Cisco. This sounds like Cisco. The record label arranged for R&B group to meet with one of the most revered publicists in the business, who just so happened to be a colleague of mine. They wanted him to assist with the publicity for the next album. Child, I walked into that meeting and I knew who was the diva. He laughed. It's a new girl group coming out. I asked. Girl group? He looked at me. Honey, it was a girl, all right. I told them that Miss Thang is fierce and they better watch him because he is going to be the most trouble. So this is how the down low men in the industry were talking to each other. What did they say when you called him a diva? What would they say? That's why they called me. I fell out laughing. My friend tried everything to steer the attention away from the colorful artist lifestyle. They tried to link Drake to a sexy pop star, but the diva attitude had already gone to his head and damage control was too little too late. Drake's sexuality was smeared across the media. Even other artists started calling him gay. Later, when I met the superstar group at MTV, it was confirmed. It was definitely obvious the lead singer was trying to hide his little secret. I soon learned that the music industry was more alluring than television and film. They had hustlers, ballers, pimps, players, and gangsters. Partying with them was a rite of passage. It was a privilege to be in the same space and location as the masculine men who made hip-hop so sexy and hetero. Not Cisco's thought. Here we go. I soon learned that the music industry world was more alluring than television and film. The perfect place to find men like these was at any industry record release party, an executive's birthday party, or a Diddy party. Without a doubt, everyone and their mama tried to get into Sean's parties. They were legendary. Just as MTV parties had free-flowing liquor and food, Sean Combs parties were like roller coaster rides with grandiose, over-the-top theatrics. When you walked through the door, your body started moving. The music filtered into your body and you couldn't help but start jigging. The dance floor was packed with everyone waving their hands in the air. You no longer cared about sweating out your new designer outfit. Girls danced with girls. Half-naked girls were in cages. The bar constantly crowded with people getting their drink on. It was nothing but pure fun filled with high exhilaration throughout the night. No attitudes, no pretenses, and no drama. Just pure fun. Just everybody letting loose. And we were all there. Straight, gay, and bisexual. You had to leave your inhibitions at the door. Now, I'm telling you guys, he definitely does not give that many details like he is giving about Diddy and Diddy's parties. And many times I exchanged glances and phone numbers with many men because Sean's parties attracted some fine brothers. I don't know where they came from, but they were there. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, especially when a down low brother made introductions. These parties are great because they are low-key and exclusive. They are invite only, and you definitely have to know the executive or socialize in the same circles. The parties are more like social gatherings for who's who. We give endearing hugs and air kisses. Okay. So I want to read to you another part of this. We got over 2,600 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. It's a free way to support the channel. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we're getting into Wendy Williams. Because Wendy Williams did some wrong ass shit. Wendy Williams did some stuff. We're getting into her. My two good friends got me acclimated quickly to the workings of MTV. They schooled me on who's who and what hands to shake. If I wanted to move up, I had to network and meet those in charge. It's necessary in the business to network. People move up the ladder quickly, and if you're nice, cool, and a smart person who works hard, others will take you with them while they are climbing the ladder. But again, the most important lesson to learn is never let your secret out. No one can know about your No one can know about your sexuality. One woman in hip hop became the pivotal spokesperson in thrusting out our secret lifestyle into the public light. Wendy Williams, the queen of radio, was a radio personality on Hot 97, New York's preeminent hip hop station. Wendy was a firecracker. Someone in the industry was filling her in on celebrities' exploits. They were divulging the behind the closed doors antics of hip hop's most revered men. Wendy went to town, giving her listening audience an earful with revelations of homosexual behavior in the confines of hip hop. She even went so far, but she didn't let us know nothing about what her husband was doing. Sorry, Wendy. I love you. I love Wendy. I never missed the episode of her show. I never missed the episode of this woman's show. You know, Radio Wendy had calmed down. I'm sorry, TV Wendy had calmed down. Radio Wendy was a whole nother beast. But okay. She even went so far as to let us know that there was an actual gay rapper. This was a delectable tidbit that fed the insatiable appetites of inquiring minds. Now, a lot of people thought that he was only talking about Diddy. But if you remember, Wendy Williams had alleged that Q-Tip was gay at the time that Q-Tip was dating Angie Martinez. And that's why Andy Martinez busted into that conference room and was beating the dog out of Wendy. And Wendy grabbed that broom. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? So it wasn't just Diddy, but definitely Wendy had her moments, and she was not. When Wendy was Wendy, I'll leave it at that. The streets were buzzing. People everywhere were talking about the gay rapper in hip hop. Everyone wondered who he could be. People making lists. Various names were thrown into the mix. No artist in hip hop was safe from the gossip. It was mind-blogging listening to her discuss her insider secrets, which many of the Download brothers I already knew. We all tuned in to hear who was the next victim of hers. We all secretly prayed it was none of us or anyone we were sleeping with. Some of her ideas of who was playing for other team were far-fetched, but many times I wondered who might have slipped up and got caught. As close-knit and closed-mouthed as we were, it seems impossible. As close-knit and closed-mouthed as we were, it seemed impossible that anyone could discover our underground network. But like everyone else in the city, I found myself tuning in and listening for all the latest details. Damn, if Wendy wasn't on point in some accusations, and damn, if she was far off on others. The No Holds Bars radio shock jock was now the holder of the keys to a locked closet and knew how to hit us. If Diddy was in a closet, it had a glass door. And Wendy Williams was throwing rocks at it. Allegedly. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. She went for the low blow and got hip-hop in the gut. It was a devastating blow, and the people in hip-hop have yet to recover. For a long time, Download men have lived discreetly and out of the spotlight, but now our dark, closeted lives are being exposed. Many of us figured we were safe from a public outing. Who would dare say anything? At the time, no one would come forward and reveal he was having a sexual relationship with another man in the public light, and especially not in the media for consumption. Not much has changed from when this book was written. I think this book was written in 2009, 2012. Not much has changed. I mean, they're 2008. They have not much has changed. I don't know too many rappers who would come out of the closet. Careers definitely get still affected by that. But the shit hit the fan with the constant speculative stories about Diddy. The battle between Diddy and Wendy was nonstop. The accusations about his lifestyle caused a big media fight between the two. Ultimately, it ended with Diddy winning. Wendy was fired from Hot 97 and landed in Philadelphia with Power 99. After a few years, she returned to New York's WBLS 107, stronger, wiser, and ferocious. The story was titillating and insatiable, but the media was always on to the next thing. So one thing that I found out was towards the end of his career, he had connections. So I want to be clear when I'm saying this. He in no way indicated that this man was gay. Most people that he named in this book, he never actually outed. Just FYI. But one man that I didn't make the connection to, Real Housewives of Potomac, he could call on this man to come and do empowerment seminars with him. Did y'all know that Erica Lyles, Giselle's best friend on Potomac, was married to a high, powerful guy I think his name is Eric Lyles, who would come and do these empower things. Now, they're not together anymore, but it makes sense why Giselle is always up her butt, because this woman was married to a very, very rich man. I think they just recently got divorced last year. I'm not saying he's gay. I'm just saying that this man, one of his things was he could actually call on Eric Lyles to come to his events and speak to other men about, you know, things that were going on in their lives. I had Kevin Lyles. Thank you. I had no idea that that was her husband. Now it makes sense why when Giselle started that company that closed down Every Hue, Erica Lyles was her business partner, because Erica Lyles was the one with the money. He was the head of Def Jam. Did y'all know that he was married to Giselle's best friend? Kevin. Thank you, Erica. What's up, Erica? I didn't see you in here. Okay. So yeah. Now, so I'm going to give you just a little taste of some stuff that he did. And I question this man's motives in doing some of these things. I don't mind reading this part of the book, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why after I tell you who they're talking about. So everywhere I turned, there was heads bedecked with blonde, black, and brunette wigs. He's at a transvestite club. Or not, he calls it transvestite because that's the term used back then. Technically, I think the term now is just cross-dresser. But if I got that wrong, let me know. But I think the correct term. Now, he might say transvestite. Remember, this was like 12, 13 years ago, y'all. So just keep that in mind. The men would give any woman a run for her money with their mini skirts, tight pants, and bustier tops spilling out their cleavage. I slowly canvassed the room. The men I had seen rushing from their cars earlier were now quite comfortable here. They ranged from street thugs to businessmen, and the transvestites reveled in and adored them. And then there was one, a fine thoroughbred of a man. So many of us fantasized about Braxton. Remember, he uses fake names, but you'll be able to tell this is. Braxton, when he was muscular, toned body, had graced the television screen on his hit show. After leaving the show, he became a sensation working in theaters across the country. The New York-bred actor smiled as a transvestite stroked his dark chocolate face, and I knew I could probably push up on him. Now, what would make this man think that a man who is into cross-dressers would automatically go for him? I told you guys he was a little bit of a thought pocket. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I waited patiently for the transvestite to leave so I could make my move and approach him. I'd say something nice and smooth to get his attention, something to let him know his secret was okay with me. We were alike. We both liked men. Then he and I would end up at his place going at each other like two longtime passionate lovers. I would devour his entire chocolate body, leaving no morsels, no crumbs. I would swallow him whole. That was my plan. Maybe he would be like his character on TV, a badass who didn't take from anybody. I love Braxton's show for having him bare his burly chest. It drew the fans in. His deep voice poured from his mouth. I could only imagine what his big, beautiful lips felt like. They had to be soft. But I was lost in my fantasy. The transvestite won. She had baited and hooked him and scored the prize. No less than 20 minutes after smooching in the dark corner, they disappeared out the club and into the night, probably to her place. So, yeah, guys, I see it in the chat. I definitely think it was Malik Yoba. My question, then, it's okay. Malik Yoba can't be outed because Malik Yoba is open about his relationships with, I think he said, pre-op trans women. So I don't mind going into depth because y'all know how my mind works at this point. I will follow a lead and source it out, but I'm not really on the tip of outing people. So that was one of the things about reading this book. Some of the stuff, is left to the imagination. Some of the stuff is easily traceable, and I don't think it's necessarily cool. But yeah, Malik Yoba is not out. I mean, Malik Yoba is out. So, you know, but what this does is give credence to what this man is saying. We got a prince that he talks about, a queen that he talks about. Maybe I'll read more of the book tomorrow if you wanted to, if you want me to, but let me hear what I'm gonna let you guys hear a little bit of how he thinks about why he wrote the book and, you know, how he feels about it. We got about 3,000 in the chat. Please hit that like button. It's a free way to support the channel. Now, this is in Terrence's own words.
Personally, and prior to me writing the book, I did receive phone calls from a lot of my friends who are in their business, who are celebrities, asking me, you know, specifically if they were going to be included in the book and if I could protect their privacy and not name their name, but give enough clues that, you know, people can probably pinpoint to who I'm referring to. And then, you know, when I did, you know, write the descriptions, I got the phone calls again, and they asked me if I could read the descriptions, you know, to them over the phone, and they asked me if I could take out some more things, you know, because they want to make sure that it, even though it may have led to them particularly, it could have been another person that I was referring to in the book. So I think people, you know, will be able to figure out and have some idea, you know, you better narrow it down to at least not that one person, at least two people who I'm referring to in the book. And, you know, I talk about, you know, a lot of things in the book, such as, you know, download parties that I've attended in the entertainment industry.
So that's in his own words of why he wrote the book. Some things, you know, y'all know how I think. Not that I like when I can just come to y'all and talk about things. When I'm doing stuff like this, or I'm reporting on, who's that lady that I reported on? She had the DUI. Tiffany Haddish, and Tiffany Haddish reaches out. It makes me think, ugh. But you guys, it looks like you guys want me to do more readings of this book. I definitely will. And maybe I'll read whole books like Confessions of a Video Vixen and this whole book on my new channel. Thinking about calling it Mims Out the Box. But yeah, I'm thinking about that. Remember Chris Stokes did, oh, you know, could be. I think I would question why he did some of this and naming it. But he was a sex addict and he did see a lot of things and mess with a lot of people. Let's see. I got a couple super chats. Cornelia Giles, thank you so much for the super chat or super sticker. I appreciate you. And Fondue for you too. Thank you so much for the super. Oh, you know, you're a member. Thank you for joining the membership. I definitely appreciate that. So y'all, I'm going to be doing a death toll video and everything will be alleged, but there's too many people that are coming up on my list. Every time that I think I'm ready to make this video, something else pops up. And it's looking like a lot of people in Diddy's orbit don't make it to too far into their 50s. So I'm going to be doing that. I guess I'll read some more of this book tomorrow. Maybe I could do another reading tomorrow morning if you guys want. Just if I do that, I'll probably be, ooh, hold on. I got to go somewhere with my mom tomorrow. If I do a reading of this book, it would be like 8 a.m. Central. And we can go over the Prince accusations or a Prince accusations, not Prince, the singer. But okay, y'all, I got to go. Thank you guys for being here. Diddy. And thank you, Dantes Bryan, for joining the membership. I'm already looking into this. This book, Bling, is hard to get, but I might be able to get it. It's just going to be a little bit expensive, but I have found a copy. We're going to get into Bling. We're going to get into Erica Kennedy, who she was to Kim Porter. That's all going to be in the death toll video. Good night, y'all. Decompress. This was a lot, and I'm just going to keep pulling these threads. I got somebody potentially working for me in New York who's going to be getting me some stuff soon as well, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So have a good night. I told you I would keep you guys updated, but I am going to do some of the fun stuff too. So good night, y'all.